Hi, my name is Ethan.
I'm Pam.
I'm Samson. I'm Xavier.
And I'm Julia.
I'm Kim.
I'm Florida.
And
we are the
99. 99. 99. 99.
99.
99.
The 99.
99.
99. 99.
Hello, my name is Payne.
And I'm Julia, and today we have a special guest.
My name's Timothy.
And we are the
99!
99!
But also, just know that Timothy is also a new member of our podcast.
Yes.
So please
Yes.
welcome him, everyone. You had a disclaimer to make?
Oh, yes, this episode, if you guys can't already tell by the title of this episode, to all the Hmong parents out there, especially my parents, don't take it personal, okay? It's just us being adult growing up in life.
Okay,
Yes.
so again, I just want to welcome everyone back to the 99 Podcast. So today's episode, it's called Conflicting Messages About Success. So if you are Hmong, if you're a Hmong youth, you probably heard things like, be a good kid, be a good Hmong kid, make your family proud, succeed in life. But then also at the same time, being a Christian or going to church, we also hear follow God wholeheartedly, right? Put God first in everything you do. Trust God with your calling, right? So balancing family expectations and their ambition and spiritual calling can, honestly feel like overwhelming like sometimes, right? So today we're gonna basically unpack what it really looks like to navigate these kind of tension or the pressures while keeping Christ at the center of it all. So we're gonna go ahead and start with the basic. Growing up Hmong, what were you taught growing up Hmong, what were you taught success look like? Sorry.
I think it's not Hmong. I think it's an Asian stereotype. Don't dishonor your parents. Be rich, go be a doctor. Be a CEO, lawyer. But speaking from a Hmong daughter point of view, because I know that Hmong parents or Asian parents have different role of success for daughters and son. So for like my parents, they're more the younger Hmong parents. So they're not really Americanized, but they're also not fully Hmong tradition. So their expectation of me is, you got to be successful because mom and dad won't be here forever. We're going to die one day and you need to, make a living without us whenever we're gone, So the expectation of the Hmong daughter that my parents expect me to be is obviously, I'm gonna get married one day, hopefully, and they want me. Okay, you need to know how to cook. You need to know how to clean. You need how to take care of your family. Not only that, my mom, she's like a strong, independent woman. You can't depend on a man, so you need to go make your own money. You gotta be smart because you're gonna get manipulated by men. so, so like growing up with that, the expectation, it's almost like I'm pretty sure it's not just the Hmong kids, but also Asian in general. We have to become perfect. Not in a sense because our parents want to, or my parent want to show me off, but my parent want me to be able to provide for myself and be able to take care of myself.
I think for me, when it comes to success, like Julia mentioned, it was more like an Asian household thing where like we have to be the best. We have to be the top, right? Mm-hmm. And as a Hmong son, like the oldest son, you have the highest expectations. You have to be a role model for your younger ones, For me, I necessarily didn't want to be in a place where I aim for higher education. Mm-hmm. But with so much pressure with my family, with my parents, with even my grandmothers, grandfathers, right? They're saying, hey, you need to do this, you need to do that. I did that as your age, you can do it too, right?
Oh yeah, definitely.
And
it's
so
always
like
that.
I think that idea of success, it really changes how you see life.
I think sorry, it has maybe the toxic parents or Asian thing, but like if I can do it, you can
Yeah.
do it, and there's always comparison, you know.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's that they meant to hurt us, but I think it's like a generational maybe curse, trauma, or whatever that they faced when they
Maybe
were young.
It's just their way of like encouraging.
Yeah.
They don't know how to. Right?
They don't know how to show
Right.
love. Their mental, you know. But it's always, you know, that pressure. Oh well, if I can do it at your age, then you can do it. And if their son and their daughter can do it, then why can't you? So that pressure is like, I have to be able to do it. I have to, you know, be at the top, even if I don't want to.
Yeah. I would agree too, because you know my parents, well, like from my mom, she always says, you know, like, well, she grew up like, well, she immigrated here from like Laos, right?
Yeah.
Well, both my parents, but like my mom, she speaks on like success a lot more. And she always tells me, she goes, you know, like, I'm not as smart as you guys, right? I'm not smart like you. You know, you have the education, like you should be, you know, achieving like a lot more, right? So I do agree, you know, that success like in the Hmong culture or just Asian household, right? It is you always hear about, oh, you gotta get good grades, you need to get a stable job, you know, you gotta support your family, like how you said, and you have to, like, honestly, like, this comes into a lot is like respecting your elders.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And also like being obedient and not embarrassing your family, right? Because I think that's a big part in like the Hmong culture too. It's like I guess you could say your reputation, right? Your family reputation like matters, right? So, and then, right, going on, like you hear in church that success, right, isn't it just about money, right, or the status that you have? It's about following God and growing your faith, right? I have a verse to share. It's from Matthew chapter 6 verse 33. It says, but seek first his kingdom and his righteousness, and all these things will be given to you as well. So how does seeking God first change the way you think about success? Can we honor God and still aim for success as well? Or to excel in life as well?
You want to go first?
Yeah. So for me, it's conflicted because you want to honor God as much as possible. You want to do ministry. You want to spread his gospel, the good news, right? And at the same time, you got to think about your own life because we're humans, right? We live in a worldly aspect where success is higher education, getting that job that you were talking about, right? And when it comes to like doing his ministry, you kind of have to take some time from your own life to do that. And I think there's a lot of problems that may arise because of that. Because you're saying, hey, I got to put some time away from succeeding in life to honor God. And for me, I don't think that it's easy. Like for me, when getting into the master program for my major, it was hard because I know that I want to do more for God. I know that I want to serve him with all my heart, right? But I have to also like put some time to focus on my life because with everything that the world is now, you have to have a job. You have to have high education.
Life is hard, man.
Yeah. And so it's because of that I think some people push away God because they want to pursue their education.
Yeah, I would agree.
You know, it's funny because both Tim and I are the oldest in our family.
Agree. I'm the middle child.
Yeah. Tim is the oldest son, and I am the oldest daughter. So, you know, seeing his point of view, a son doesn't have it easy like a daughter. But your question was, how do we still be successful in...
Yeah, so like how does seeking God first, right, change the way you kind of think about success? And can you honor God and still aim to excel in life, like at the same time?
I say yes. I didn't. Obviously, it's not an overnight thing that I'm like, yeah, I'm going to, chase God and pursue my career at the same time. It was a constant fighting with my family, a constant, like, battle going on with God, because then, it's like Tim said, you want to, do ministry, but then you also have to get your life together because we're not getting young anymore, We're in our mid-20s where we should be having our life together. We need to get a house, we need to get married, and stuff like that. So it's definitely hard, and it's definitely, I think it's still today, an ongoing battle. I wouldn't say battle with the Lord, but definitely a growth with the Lord, But the reason why I start seeing it differently is that you can still be successful and still be chasing God at the same time. Because, and, I think it's one of my favorite verse, this year, because it's just, I'm still in school and I'm going through my career, and it's the hardest year that I have ever faced. I thought 2022 was bad, but yeah. But anyway, it's collision 3, 23, and it said, whatever you do as if you are doing it for the Lord. And because of that verse has been stuck with me. It doesn't matter if I'm not holding ministry anymore, and it doesn't matter if I am pursuing my career, as long as I'm putting my heart in it. As long as I am depending on God and inviting him into my life and choosing him every day and inviting him to guide me, then I will constantly be remained in him, Because doing ministry is not just at church. Your life is your ministry. It should not just be stopped at church, not on Sunday, where you go Sunday church and then, okay, I did my part for God. No, it is a constantly 7 days a week, 368 days, where you constantly give your life to the Lord. And if I'm only giving my life and my ministry to God on a Sunday, then how is that worshiping God throughout my whole entire life, So I start to see that, whatever I do, I have to involve the Lord in it. And whether it is school, like studying, like I constantly ask God, God, I want to be successful. I want to graduate, and I want to become this person when I graduate. But then God spoke to me, it's like, but are you doing anything to improve it? And, so I realized that, studying is a way to honor God, because then if I don't study, then how am I going to help these people? How am I going to serve these people like how God want me to serve others, So that's been my mindset lately. I don't think I fully understand it. Maybe I just get the gist of it, but I believe that eventually the more I depend on the Lord, the more I involve him and invite him and ask him constantly for direction and for guidance, then my relationship with him, I believe that it will continue to grow, even if one day, I am no longer in this church. And let's say I go and marry and I go to another church, my ministry doesn't stop within the church. My ministry will continue to go on as long as I live every day, whether I go to work, whether I go to school, whether it is, helping my, parents or my in-laws in the future. So I think that success and God goes a lot in line. As long as you are aligned with his word, you continually pray and communicate with him. And I think that, God wants us to be successful.
Okay. Really good answers from, I think, the both of you. I think, like, you brought up a good point about you two being the oldest, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think for me, I'm the middle child, so I don't really, like, experience what an oldest, have to really, experience. But do you think, like, for you guys, right, like, do you feel like your parents do have, like, high expectations for the both of you, especially being, like, the oldest in your family?
Oh yes, definitely.
Obviously, yeah.
So, like carrying on like with that. So, how does how does it feel when your family expectations, clash with your faith or your calling? Because I feel like there's always gonna be, like how you guys were saying, there's always that challenge, right?
Yeah, it's very hard because mom, dad, don't blame me. I don't hate you guys. I'm not mad.
Love.
I like all love because I understand where my parents coming from. It's like I said in the beginning. They just want me to be able to live off when they're no longer in this world, and it's understandable.
Right?
And I think that's what every parent wants, to know that your kids will survive without you when you're gone, because your parents are not going to be here forever. Everyone dies at one point, But it is very challenging because one of the biggest challenge that I have with my parents, is, so I started my career, or pursuing my career, and my parents like, okay, it's getting serious. You're not getting any younger, You have been serving the Lord in the church, doing ministry for the past 6 years. You need to take a break and focus on, your career, because it's getting serious. And I'm like, but I don't want to. I can do this. I can do both ministry and school at the same time. And then they're like, well, it's going to be too much on you because you go to work too. And because of that, we know that you're not going to take your school seriously because you're always going to put God first, and there's nothing wrong with that. We're not asking you to not do ministry, to stop doing ministry. We just want you to take a break from it, And it was a constant battle, constant argument that we're going to leave the church because we're too much into ministry, that we just need a break from it. And it's not that they don't want us to do ministry. They just want us to, put our life together first and then go back and serve the Lord, which I think there's no problem with that. But to me personally, I don't want to let ministry go, because ministry has what hold me accountable. Ministry has what made me stay so strong. And I'm not saying that, I'm the most faithful person, but it has constantly been a reminder that I need God, And let's say that if one day I do have to, put the church ministry on hold, I think that will not stop my relationship with God anymore, because I have grown up to the point, to a certain point where, where I'm living my life as if it is a ministry for the Lord. But it is still challenging from my parents, because they really want us to, to finish school and get a job and be stable first, which they're not wrong, and be successful, which they're not wrong, because I get it. Life is, in this economy, I get it. I don't want to be living with my parent forever, but it is a constant struggle, because then God does say, honor and be obedient to your parents. But I'm like, God, is it to honor, be obedience to you as well? So how do I balance it, But this year has definitely been challenging. You could say I have taken a step back from ministry, not completely, because I still want to hold myself accountable, but I have stepped back more to, focus on my career. That way I could just finish my career and come back to the Lord. That's my mindset right now. Finish what I need to do with my life. Take 1 year to fully focus, and then just come back and then just get that out of the way, so that I have nothing to stop me from doing what God wants me to do.
And you'll be like, Mom, Dad.
Yeah, exactly.
I got this.
I know. So this is what I'm holding them accountable. They're like, look, once you're done, we're not going to bother you anymore. So I'm like, okay, once I'm done with what they want me to do, and if I come back, they cannot stop me. Nobody can stop me, because, hey, I did what they want me to do. Now I can do whatever I want to do. That's my mindset right now. That's what been pushing me to finish what I need to do, because it's just, I want to do what I want to do. And because I want to do what I want to do, then I have to give my parent what they want as well, which is not a bad thing. I think it's a good thing, because my parents are supporting me,
That's good.
So, yeah.
Sorry, what was the question again?
Sorry.
The question was, how does it feel when your family expectations clash with your faith or your calling?
I think when it comes to that, I think it's more like, okay, currently right now, when it comes to my ministry.
Don't cry.
No, I'm not gonna cry. I'm not gonna cry. But when it comes to my ministry, it's already conflicted, because I'm already trying to do so much, right? I'm taking upon leadership, I'm doing ministry, right? But they expect me to, like, I don't know how to phrase this, but like they want me to do ministry, but at the same time it feels like they don't like
Yeah.
it's,
I get you.
it's like, yes, go serve the Lord, but like,
But-
don't at the same time. You gotta do something first, right? You gotta put your
Yeah.
education first, and it's like, how? Like I can't.
Ooh,
I'm
that
not
struggle
getting
is
you.
real.
Like how is that
gosh.
possible, right? And that expectation of like having the higher education and stuff, and being the oldest son too, like knowing that, especially as a man, right? Man, now you have to be a breadwinner. You have to have the money. You have to be able to support your family and everything. Like,
Well, I just want to say it always been the man's job. Even the Bible says so.
yeah, no, I'm just saying, right? So like, as a man, you have huge responsibilities
Yeah,
in supporting
definitely.
your family
Mhm.
and making sure that they, have a good walk of faith, right? And ensuring that, they live their life in Christ. And so right now, like growing up as a man, it's hard because you have to prioritize what you need to do for your future family and what you need to do for your life as of now.
Oh yeah.
And like, it's just
A conflict.
crazy chaotic because I want to do more, but there are expectations within the family, like that you should take care of your family first. And yes, that is true, but then in the Bible also says that at some point we will have to leave our family, right? And so it's just conflicted.
It's hard.
Yeah, it's hard.
So, like, on the other hand, right, and we're talking about now when we go to church, right, we're taught to fully, follow God, right? Meaning serving in ministry, obeying God's calling, trusting Him over comfort, and choosing purpose and faithfulness over worldly success. So, for you guys, have you ever felt torn between following God and also keeping your family like happy?
Oh yeah. Definitely.
I kind of touched about it. Like,
Yeah.
you have to somewhat keep your family happy with what you're doing, but also you have to know that the only one who could technically save you is yourself, because this journey with Christ is you alone. Like you have other people, brothers and sisters in Christ that keep you accountable, but in that journey alone, between you and God, it's just you, right? You have to, you basically,
Hold yourself accountable
Yes.
and be disciplined
Yes,
to
and-
keep pursuing Him.
and like with family, with their expectations, it's, I don't know, like I just,
It's like
It's
you don't have
hard.
an answer just yet. Like, it's
Yeah.
still like a learning process.
right.
It's just like, God, can't you just make me rich? That would solve everything.
Like if we were able to get our education right at the spot, there we wouldn't have our parents worry like, oh, get your education first and then serve Christ. Like we would be able to serve Him wholeheartedly if we had nothing to worry about our future. If we had, like, if everything was just set in our life.
Oh yeah, but it's like I said earlier, and this economy is hard. Going for your career is hard because people want the same career as you. You have
Right,
to wait
right.
for a class.
Competition.
You have to,
Very competitive.
you have to be the top of the
Yes.
top just to get what you want, and you're just like, it's not me that I'm behind in life. It's just the government. It's just the world, just Satan. But it's hard, man. Yeah, so it's like your family want you to, be successful and to be stable, but you constantly have to remind yourself, to be deeply rooted in the Lord. And you're just like, God, what do you want me to do? Like, it's like I'm stuck in between. Like, you put me in a situation where I can't do nothing. You put me in a situation where I have to, obviously obey my parents and be obedient to them because they're my, I need them at the moment. I live in their house still, so I have to be
True.
obedient.
Yes, true.
But yes, it's like, oh my God, the Lord's like, put me first, put the kingdom. I'm trying, God. It's just hard, okay? But I think it's not that God doesn't know, you know. I think God know that it's hard, and God see that we're obviously, you know, trying our best. You know, even if it's just not us, I believe everyone is trying their best in their journey and walk with Christ when it comes to, you know, meeting parent expectation and meeting and going for God's will, you know. But I think, you know, sorry, I lost my train of thought. What was that question again?
Question was, have you ever felt torn between following God and keeping your family happy?
Oh yeah. So yeah, keeping my family happy and following God it's a constant battle every day. Every day is like, did you pass your class? Are you doing good? Okay, well you can't go do this today because you need to study. I'm like, oh come on, I'm 23 years old. But it's also like,
You're like, I'm an adult.
I'm an adult, but a dependent adult on my parents. But yeah, it's like I said, it's not that our parent, you know, don't want us to do ministry. They actually highly encourage us to, you know, continue doing ministry. It's just they want us to be successful and be okay first in the world. Because I think our parents know that, you know, as days and years goes by, the world is not getting any better. Getting a job these days is really hard. It's not just about bachelor anymore. You need to get your master, your doctor degree just to have a stable income. Like even like having an annual income of $100,000 a year, that's not enough anymore. Everything's just so expensive. So like what our parents want, it's realistic. I get it. And then going with what, you know, with what your heart want, with what God want us to do, it's also very hard because then you have to make sure you're always aligned with what the Lord said, you know. But then you also have to make sure that you also follow what your parents said because you don't want to hurt their feelings. And it's also not just about hurting their feelings, but you know they're not wrong in what they said. It's just reality hitting you. And sometimes you just wish that, you know, you have much more power and everything in control. But I think this is where God come in. And these family conflict and feud, I think this is where God want to make his presence known that, you know, it's okay. You're going to get through it, you know. And I think it's especially in these family feud that we have to constantly invite God and involve him in it and constantly pray that, Lord, I need you today because I can't deal with my family right now. Give me the patience, you know, give me the grace to, you know, forgive my family or to even forgive myself for hurting others. And forgive me if, you know, I did not do your will today and what you have in store for me. So I think involving God, no matter how hard it is, you know, even if you make your parents mad or even if you know it's not, even if, you know, you can't do completely what God want, I say still involve him because that's what he just want, you know, tell him. And I think it's going to take time and it's going to suck. But I think eventually, you know, everything will play out in the path that God want you to be on.
I agree. I think a lot of Hmong youth, right? Or yeah, they feel kind of stuck in the middle, like kind of how you guys were saying, right? Trying to honor family, but also chase success, but also stay faithful. Do you think the Hmong youth have enough space to explore their calling without judgment?
To explore what?
Like their calling.
To explore their
without
calling.
judgment.
Without judgment?
Do you think there's like that's the question. Do you think they have enough space to explore those?
What do you mean by space?
So you know, like your parents have expectations for you, right? But then you might have different like goals or dreams for yourself. But because of like expectations and stuff, do you feel like
it's safe for you
there's
to go?
not just safe, but is there enough room for you to like grow, I guess, with your own self?
So my parents, they're kind of different, you know. It's like, so my parents, they're this type. you can do whatever you do. If school is not for you, then you just better make sure that you find a job that bring you money. So my parent, well, yeah, his parents different. So my
Mine is
parents,
different.
you know, because my parent knows that school is not for everyone,
Yeah.
and you know, being a doctor or a lawyer is not for everyone. Those are hard. So this is what my parents said to me and my brothers. You know, they're like, they don't care what we do as long as we are able to live off without them. So to me, my parent made sure to build me an environment where I feel safe to pursue whatever I want, you know. And they say that, you know, even if you can't be a doctor, even if you can't be a CEO, a business person, or a freaking lawyer, you know, with all those high degrees, they say that you could do whatever you want as long as, you know, it aligns with the Lord, going back to the Lord, as long as what you're doing is righteous and is good and is morally right, then go for it, you know. But you just better make sure that you don't regret what you do, and you better be able to live off without me and dad once we're gone, you know. So I feel very safe, you know. I don't think a lot of Asian household, or definitely Hmong kids, have that type of safe space like I do. So I can't really
Like,
understand.
speak on.
Yeah, or speak on it, because I am blessed to have such understanding parents, you know, who will, you know, passionately support me in anything that I do, you know. So even though like they're harsh, and you know what they do is want to make me success, I feel like whatever goal that I choose, or whatever, you know, space that they give me, I feel like I will always feel safe and know that they will support me, even if I don't become, you know, the best of the best, because they just want me to live a good life at the end of the day. But I know that Timothy is different.
Yeah, for us, you have to have an education. Like when I think about like my younger brothers, like they push, like all throughout my life, I've been told get good grades, like we mentioned, right? Make sure that you go to college, and if you don't go to college, we're gonna send you to the military. Like you have to, you got to
Sheesh.
do something in
Mhm.
your life, right? And so, sorry, what was the question?
Do you think among youth, right, have enough space to explore their calling without judgment?
Well, okay, when you say calling, is it calling with Christ or
Um,
calling like in
Let's say both. Let's
both?
say
Okay.
both.
So I think Hmong youth, I think kids aren't as free to do what they want, because I feel like
Mhm.
parents in general, they have expectations of what you should become.
Mm.
Um, but when we're talking about like calling in Christ, I think they are open to it more, especially if they are, you know, doing ministry themselves, like the parents. Like I
I
feel
don't
like
think so. But go ahead.
okay, yeah, I think that at some point they will, you know, they would want you to still do ministry, but I feel like they kind of put more emphasis on your life instead. Um, like for me, right, when I was talking about myself and my education, I was always told, do this, do that. You need a higher education. You need to get your master's or whatever, right? And part of me, it's like I I think it's good enough if I at least got my bachelor's, or just went to a community college and got my associates. But with everything going on, and with like how my parents want more of me, like I think I've done enough, to be honest.
Period.
I think that what I've already accomplished is good, but they will always keep adding to these expectations of us. And like it's it's hard for us to really strive to do what we want if they already have expectations of what we should become.
Mm-hmm. Why I say I disagree with Tim about, you know, about, I agree with him on like the family thing, but when it comes to like ministry or Christ, right? I think when it comes to, you know, doing ministry, I've seen and I heard my parents, well, I can't say, because my parents, they're a little more lenient. if I wanted to pursue ministry, they would support me all the way if that's what I wanted to do for a living. But I know that for like other parents, they're like, oh, well, if you're going to pursue ministry, then why don't you just become a pastor? It's like go for the biggest thing in ministry you can become. Don't just settle being a teacher, or like a kids ministry, or just being like
basically like a volunteer worker.
Or don't settle for like being a volunteer worker. If you're gonna do ministry, then
like get paid for it.
Yeah, get paid for it. And I know that like and I've seen and I heard that when parents do want their kids to be involved in ministry, they want them to already like have position and stuff. They just don't want their kids to be someone regular, which there is no problem being with, just being a listener sometime and, learning from, the leader's point of view. But I know that some parents are like, oh, like my daughter and my son can do this, so they should go for higher, I was like, but what if that's not what your sons or your daughter want? What if, what they want is just to volunteer, and there's nothing wrong with that. But there's also nothing wrong with going, being a pastor or being like or being like a missionary, But all I'm saying is that, I feel like, it's like Tim said, Asian parents, they always want their kids to go for the best of the best, even if that's not what the kids want. But if that's what the kids want, then all great, go for it. But, I feel like not a lot of, Asians or especially Hmong kids, I don't think they have that space to exactly do what they want and pursue the goal that they want without their parent interfering and saying, nitpicking. Because, like, my parent can be like this sometimes. Yeah, go ahead and do this. But when I went to do it, they were like, oh, well, you shouldn't do it like this. You should do it like this, like this. So I was like, okay, but I thought you said I could do it however I want. So why are you giving me your input? It's not a bad thing, but it's just like, sometimes I just want to do things. Yeah, I just want to do things by myself to know my capability without my parents.
Yeah. Adding on to what Ju was just saying about nitpicking, it's like, okay, for me, I wanted to become a social worker, but they always were like, social worker, like, you want to talk to crazy people? You want to do this and do that?
Well,
like,
we need somebody to do it.
Like,
I ain't gonna do
it. They saw the bad in the work that I wanted to do, and it internally it like pushed me down because it's like, I want to do this because I like helping people. I want to help the people that are in need. But if you guys are gonna be like talking about bad about what I want to do, it doesn't make me want to do it anymore. Like, at some point during my educational journey, I was like, I'm done. Like, I don't want to do this anymore because of how much like bad they were talking about it. And even though they're like sugarcoating in a sense, where like, okay, yeah, do whatever you want, right? Like, we support you as long as you're happy with it. But here you guys are like targeting and saying bad things about what I do. It's like, come on, be real, And they will always say something bad about anything that you do. But I think honestly, like, Asian parents, they give you like that tough love. Like, you gotta really like endure it, especially as the oldest. Like, you gotta be able to push past their bad comments, their like bad expectations of you, and like, you really just gotta go for what you want. And right now, that's kind of like what I'm struggling with right now, to be honest. Like, it's a hard life out here.
I think a lot of Asian parents, they don't understand that it's like yes, a job is a job, but I think personally a social worker is a good job. Especially the stress they have to deal with, and how patient they have to deal with. I don't think I can ever be that patient, because it's not just, well, like Tim said, I don't think it's just crazy people you have to deal with, but it's like the tax, the governments. Oh my God, like, I can never deal with that. The documentation that you have, those legal like work that you have to do with, that is actually a good job, because without those people, come on, nobody can get their EBT. Nobody can get their welfare, CalFresh, or, even get their paperwork done, And I think, helping people is part of God's will. No matter how big or small, that's God's will for us, to help people. And, I think, just an encouragement for Tim or anyone out there, it doesn't matter how big your title of a job is, but as long as you're doing it wholeheartedly, and you know that this is what you wanted to do, and you know that it's for the good cause, don't give up, because I believe that the Lord has a purpose for you. And knowing your heart, Tim, is knowing that you want to help these people. I think God has pushed you towards this path because you are someone who's patient with it, and I think that you will be successful in helping these people, because I can't. I can't be those people. So somebody got to do it. Like I said, somebody got to do it. Not everyone can do this job. And, if God is gifting you that gift to, help these people, then go for it. Because then you're honoring God by doing it.
Yeah, I agree with Julia. I think it goes kind of right into what I was wanting to speak next on is, what God defines as success, right? We see it as, faithfulness, obedience, love, glorifying God, and like what you were saying, making choices that honor Christ, even if it looks different from what society would call it, right? So one last question for you guys, right, is can we honor our family and follow God fully? And what does that balance look like in real life?
You want to go? Or you want me to go?
Can we honor our family and follow God fully? And what does that balance look like in real life?
You take it first.
I don't think you can ever honor your family. And I'm not saying like you can't never, but obviously your family have different opinions from you. And I think this is where, it reminds me of oh my God, what is that saying? Will you choose God or will you choose your family? Because your relationship with God is your relationship with God. Nobody will ever understand it. It's like Tim said, you will have your brother and sister in Christ with you, but they will never understand the situation you go through. They can't walk your faith for you, So when it comes to fully honoring your family and fully following God, can those two go hand in hand? I think it will not be possible, because the honoring your family can sometimes cut or take out the blessing that God has in plan for you, and obviously, oh my God, there's just that one thing, following Jesus will make the world hate you, and sometimes following Jesus will make your family so upset with you, because yes, it's all love. Your family, they just want the best for you, but they don't know you like how God knows you. And it will be, and honestly, it is going to be really hard to do both, because then you want to give into your parents, but you also want to give into God. But you have to remember that God is higher than your parents. Before your parents come, it is God. Sorry, mom and dad. But yeah. And it's not to say that you love your parents any less. And it's not to say that you're going to dishonor them. But sometime God will test you and see how obedient you can be towards him, for you to follow him. Sometime you're going to have to give up what is called honoring to your family and follow God instead, because the calling that God has for us and the expectation and the calling that our parents want us to have is different. Our parents, when they think of expectation, they're looking at it from a worldly point of view, compares to God. God is not looking at the worldly point of view. God is looking at a spiritual point of view. And we need that saving, and we need God, Our parents, they're there for us, but they're not going to be there for us forever. One day they're going to die, and, one day we're also going to die. And we have to make sure that we live our life to the fullest, especially serving God. So honoring our family and honoring God at the same time, that is going to be very hard. I don't think it is possible, because at one point in your life, you're going to make your parent disappoint. At one point in your life, you're going to be disobedient to what your parents want, because you have to follow what God wants. And it's going to be very hard. I think, I don't know about, I like to say my parents, no matter how bad or disobedient I can be, they will always love me and they will always understand, because at the end of the day, I am an adult, so they can't say everything. They can only say input, but I think they will understand no matter how hard it is for them. I can't say the same for every family, because like I said, my parents, they did give me a safe space to talk and stand up for myself. But I know that for others, family, if you go against them, then they just cut ties. No forgiveness. And they say, okay, well, if you're going to do it your way, then, and you don't care about us, then you're no longer part of this family. And I seen that a lot, and I hear that a lot, and it's just very sad and very discouraging, because it's not like you want to isolate your family. You just need to do what you have to do for God. But if doing it for God means that your parents going to cut you out, then to you really have to evaluate, is this what you want? I have not been put in that situation. I don't think I'll ever be put in that situation. But if I am put in that situation, Lord, may you help me.
You're like, we'll cross that bridge.
We'll
when we
cross that bridge when we get there.
Okay. I'm just hoping my parents don't see this. But unfortunately, right, I've been in that place where my parents have said, if you're going to do that, you don't love us anymore. You're like, you're stepping away from this family. And in the talks and arguments and conversations that I have with my parents when it comes to ministry, they've always said, you need to put your family first. And I'm thinking, but doesn't God come first? Like, shouldn't we put God over what we call family? Yes, we are family. But we got to think that God is the number one priority in our life. Mm-hmm. Yes, like, I will always love you guys. I will always, be here for you guys. But honestly, like, I would rather be, sometimes hurt or, like, be disobedient sometimes to honor God. Because for me, God is my main priority. And if my family is telling me, hey, if you're going to be doing this and you don't care about us anymore, then at some point, I'm going to say, well, I'm doing it for God. And if you love God as much as I do, you would know that it's right. You would allow me to do this. Like, when it comes to my ministry, the amount of times they've bashed on it, it's hard for me to still continue to want to do ministry. But I still do it because I do love God and I want to do more for him. Mm-hmm. And so the balance of, like, honoring family and honoring God, it really is hard. It's like, I wouldn't say it's impossible, but it's definitely a real struggle. And how it looks like in, like, real life, like, I would say the way I'm handling things right now, that's real life to me. Like, it's hard.
It's ups
like,
and downs.
Yeah, it's a constant battle. Like, every single time I come home from doing ministry, I gotta think, oh man, I'm gonna get into an argument tonight. Like, my parents are gonna say something, and I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna be real. Again, I hope you're not watching, but like, they do. Like, there's always something said, mm-hmm. And sometimes I just storm right to my room because I know, God, I will say stuff that I don't want to say and I don't want to mean, and so, yeah, like, that battle every day.
It's like, sometimes your family is your biggest obstacle. It's not even outsider. It's your family that give you the biggest,
Yeah.
And sometimes I just want to be like Jesus, who rebuked Peter. I rebuke you, Satan. But, I don't want to say that because I'm not going to whoop. But, but you're just like, damn, God is like, Satan is really using them against me today. Be with them, Lord. Give them some, whatever they need. But this year for me, it has settled down a bit with my parents. Like Timothy said, Mom, Dad, I hope you don't ever watch this video. But last year it was so hard. It's like we go and do something with ministry. Why are you guys always going?
Yes.
It's like you guys never want to hang out with the family. You guys always choose church first, and I'm just like, oh my god, like.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I guess I'm choosing God first. So what? But
Right. Right.
I guess being the oldest is hard, you know.
Yes.
It's just a constant. It used to be a constant struggle for me. That's why I said this year I just want to get everything my parent want out of the way. That way, when I graduate, they can't say nothing. If they say something about you, I was like, well, you said that if I finish this, you guys are not going to get in my way. You know, I'm holding their word accountable, you know. So it is hard. Sometimes, like, you know, like Timothy said, I come home from, you know, a church meeting. I'll just go straight to my room. It would just be this one constant season where I would just avoid my mom because I already knew.
Yep.
I already knew she's going to give me crap. So I'm just like, it's okay, God. It's okay. I'm doing it for you. It's okay. It'll be worth it. My gift is up there somewhere.
Right.
My gift is up there waiting for me.
Okay. So just to kind of close everything off. So the truth is, right? Balancing like family, like success or like expectations and, you know, following God, it does have its ups and downs.
Yes.
Right. But it definitely takes prayer, takes discernment, and obviously it takes courage, right? To especially stay Christ-centered in everything that we do when it comes to education, pursuing your careers, when it comes to ministry, or even just like your family. It is, you know, really up to us to like stay Christ-centered. But I just, again, to end everything, thank you, both of you, for sharing your experiences and the things that you guys struggle with, you know,
really
especially
put us on
being
the line.
especially being like the oldest.
We might hear something about this after they watch the episode.
But, you know, hopefully this encouraged all the audience out there who do or who have gone through something like this as well, right? So remember to stay Christ-centered, seek God first, right? And then honor your family while, you know, following God's calling as well, right? And again, this has been the 99 Podcast. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and see you guys in the next one. Okay, bye.
Bye.